Okay, so let's get started. So today we'll be installing FastAPI. We'll build the foundational service layer, which can be enhanced with other services in the upcoming videos. So today let's install FastAPI, understand how virtual environments can be created, and how to run FastAPI application in the simplest way possible. So yeah, I'll be putting the code in my GitHub repo so that you can just download it, start it instantly your FastAPI service, and then obviously build enhanced version or like different services on top of it. So let's get started. I've created a folder which actually holds all the FastAPI related tutorials. So for today, let's create a folder called My Services. Let's rename it as My API Services. So this will hold all the REST APIs that we would be building today, and also the other sessions, other tutorials, where we would be adding in other APIs or external APIs. Let's say that we build a tutorial on OpenAI, how to consume these services, how to stream data from LLM, how to use embeddings, how we can use OpenSearch or other vector DBs to do embeddings and get better optimized results from LLM, context-based results, etc. So a lot of tutorials are coming up, and this would be the foundational tutorial as well as the foundational code base for all these services which we would be building. Cool. Now let's open up VS Code from this folder. So for that, I'll type in terminal. Let's go to the folder. So documents, FastAPI, or like it was code, FastAPI, base tutorials, my API services, enter, then code dot, which opens up VS Code from this particular folder. So all the changes that we do here on the left hand side resides in that folder. Okay, just giving a heads up. Obviously, there would be senior developers or experienced developers who knows all these things, but I'm just making sure that everyone follows the standard procedure of installing virtual environments, etc. So for this project, let's install virtual environment. So I would suggest everyone do that for every project that you work on, just to make sure that the package dependencies and other versions doesn't clash with your previous projects or the new projects that you work with. Also make sure that you have the right, the Python version also installed. For example, let's say that your older project needs Python 3.9, probably the newer ones 3.11. So make sure that you install virtual environment rightly and also for the right Python version. Why am I saying right Python version? I'll show you an example. So let's create a file called app.py. You can create any folder, any Python file, .py file, just to see what your what VS Code detects, or which version of Python your VS Code detects. Here it says 3.9.6. What if you want to use different version of Python? Also, you want to create different virtual environments for each version, just if you want to test your application with a different version, or just to check the compatibility with older versions or new versions of Python. For that, let's create the virtual environment. I'll show you an example how to create virtual environments for different Python versions. So for that, let's click on this thing and understand the path. So it says /user/local bin Python. Yeah, let's create virtual environment. Before that, let me see what is the default version of Python. VS Code sees from command line. Okay, command line says 3.11.4, but VS Code here on the bottom says 3.9.6. So just to make sure that you're installing packages for the right version, let's create virtual environment. So yeah, multiple use cases for building virtual environments. So it's always best option to do. Please make sure that you follow this standard method of creating virtual environments for different versions of your project, or not just different the same project, but yeah, different projects too. Cool. So let's get to the point. So yeah, let's install virtual environment for 3.11. How do I do this? For this, let's follow the path. User local bin Python. You can do the same thing for Windows or any other operating systems. User /local/bin /python 3. Okay, and -m vn and your virtual environment folder. So for this, I'll put the folder name as 311, just to make sure this is for this virtual environment is built for Python 3.11. Cool. It'll take a couple of times. You see that even VS Code has noticed that there is a virtual environment detected Right now, I won't do anything here, any changes here, because I'll be showing you how to create virtual environments for different versions of Python. So let's create next for 3.10. How do you do that? So just follow this path. So 3.10 is installed because I installed Anaconda here. Even probably most of the users also would have the same thing. So let's create virtual environment for 3.10 in this case. So Anaconda slash Anaconda 3 slash bin slash Python, again -m for module and virtual environments module in Python, and then the folder name. So here I'll call it as 310. Enter. Okay, there is an error. So let me find that out. Okay, it's not in the root folder. It's like you need to add the tilde in the front. Perfect. Again, VS Code has detected that we created a new virtual environment. In this case, it says new environment. Do you want to switch? No, right now, no. Okay, so yeah, you can see here that we have created virtual environments for different versions of Python. Let me do one more thing. Let me create one for 3.6. Again, following the same path, I'll just scroll up and change the location. So in this case, it says user slash bin slash Python. So let me remove slash local from this. Okay, and I'll call the folder name as 039. Perfect. Again, it detected there's a new environment. I won't be switching to that. So here on the left hand side, you can see virtual environment 3.9, 3.10, 3.11. So how do you know this virtual environment is actually for that specific environment? So let's expand this folder and see Python envconf. So here you can literally see 3.11.4. Again, same thing for the 3.10 folder, 3.10.9. Yeah, and for 3.9 it says 3.9.6. Perfect. So this actually verifies or tells the package that would be installed in this, saying that okay, it's for 3.9.6 or the respective versions. Perfect. So yeah, to continue this tutorial, I would be switching to 3.11. I'll be switching in sense I would be using 3.3.11 or 3.11's Python version. So cool. So how do we activate it instead of clicking the buttons that VS Code told? Okay, there's an environment. Why don't you switch to that? So instead of doing that, how do you do it programmatically? For that, let's clear this out. So it's like source. This is the example for Mac. I'll put the same command for Windows in the description box. Just refer that. So it's pretty much the same. Only thing is that instead of source, you need to use that dot slash. Just to give you an example, it will be .vn 311 slash bin, something like that. So I'll put this description, put the command in the description. So for now, let's follow for Mac users or the Linux users. So yeah, source vn. So we have vn, multiple vn. So let's type in vn 311 slash. Let's hit tab again and switch to bin slash and hit tab again. So here we have a couple of activate. So for Windows user, you probably would be using activate.ps1. That's for PowerShell. Yeah. For Mac, let's just go with activate, and it's activated. So in my case, I can see that the virtual environment is activated. 3.11 is activated here. So yeah, so whatever you install here would go reside in this folder itself. So you probably can see the install package here. Let's start with the first installation. That's our primary one, the FastAPI. For that, let's create a requirements file, a requirements.txt. You can have a common requirements across, or if you want version specific, you can have requirements.311 or 310 or 39.txt. Based on that, you can actually install it. So let's keep it common for this use case. I'll quickly switch to the browser and check FastAPI. So FastAPI.Dianglo. I don't know how to spell how pronounce this thing. So yeah, this is pretty much the best. What do you call it? The framework for Python to build up your REST API services or other functionalities. So yeah, this is FastAPI. This is the official website for FastAPI, and let's go to the release node and see what is the latest version. So it is 3.103.1. Let's quickly switch to pip. Pip is the location where all the packages are made available openly for free. So let's type in FastAPI and see what is the version over here. So let's copy this FastAPI and then put it in our requirements file. Paste it here. Just make sure you make this change. So FastAPI 0.103.11 and save it. Cool. So let's install this FastAPI. So pip 3 install -r requirements.txt, hit enter. So this actually installs FastAPI, and probably if you open up your virtual environment under libs, you can actually see FastAPI is here. Cool. I'll show one example of installing FastAPI for 3.10. Let's see that, okay, in this libs folder, there is no FastAPI. So how do you do that? So first, let's deactivate or get out of this virtual environment. Cool, it's deactivated. And now let's install FastAPI in 3.10 virtual environment. So to do that, we just need to switch to that environment or activate that environment in our terminal. So how to do that? So it's simple. Source vn, hit tab, and it says there are multiple vn. So let's select vn 310 /bin /activate, hit activate. So you see it's virtual environment 310. We switched from 311 to 310. And now again follow the same command, pip install requirements.txt. So let's see live that package getting added to our libs folder. So hit enter, and you can see probably, let's see, yeah, let's wait for a while. Yeah, so it install, I think, yeah, many packages. So FastAPI, it also installed Pydantic, which is our request validator kind of a library. That's pretty cool. Even Starlet. Yeah, everything is installed in 3.10. Okay, for this tutorial purposes, since probably most of the folks would use the latest version of Python 3.11. So let's deactivate, then switch. So I'll use a shortcut Control R, search, Control R again, and switch the result, hit enter. Yeah, so we are back in 3.11. And then, yeah, let's install the other packages. So along with FastAPI, I would be installing UVCon. I'll be using UVCon as the server here, or also you can use Hypercorn. So let's install a server which runs FastAPI. So switching back to the documentation and going to FastAPI, let's see. And by the way, in my tutorial, I'll be going through documentation, and it actually helps. Or you can also learn how reading documentation you can install most of the things. So let's go to the tutorials and user guides for steps, and it says how to install or how to run FastAPI. So here it says UVCon main app reload. So you can actually install UVCon, or in my case, I would be preferring a much better server called Hypercorn. So let's search for Hypercorn. Okay, there's a typo, but still it's fine. I'll go to pip Hypercorn and install this Hypercorn server. So Hypercorn, I mean, for personally, I like this because it adds enhancements to, or adds HTTP3, and also it is mostly built on async library, so it's much more stable and faster than UVCon. That's my personal thing, but yeah, you can actually switch to UVCon as per the documentation of FastAPI, or switch to the Hypercorn, which is what I prefer. So Hypercorn, it's 0.14.4, so it's technically 0.14.4. I'll switch back to the requirements file, hit paste, and then add equals. So one thing, instead of doing pip install, right, instead of just using pip install Hypercorn, I would prefer pasting the version number in your requirements file, so that this is actually reproducible. So yeah, let's install again pip 3 install -r requirements.txt, hit enter. So yeah, it has installed Hypercorn server. Perfect. So let's switch to app.py and also get some sample codes from FastAPI, how to get started. So here it says from FastAPI import FastAPI. So let's follow that. From FastAPI import all caps, or first letters caps. Perfect. Then we create an instance of FastAPI. Okay, from the class FastAPI, perfect. And then we create a route called get. This would be the basic route. And what? We define a function, a sync function. Probably you can also go with def itself. So for now, let's go with def. And let's say, yeah, whatever, root. And let's define the return variable. So here it says return message hello. Okay, so return, it's in flower brackets, JSON, and let's put hello world. Perfect. Cool. What else? And now we need to run Hypercorn server. Let's save this and let's see how to run the Hypercorn server. So we'll go to Hypercorn pip and it says first to install. Yeah, we did that. And a simple command is Hypercorn module name and the app name. Okay. In our case, what is it? So it says Hypercorn and module name. Our module name is app here. So instead of app, let me change it as API so that there won't be any confusion to the users. Okay, so how do you run this Hypercorn server? So it says Hypercorn module. In our case, what's the module name? It's called app. And then the app name. In our case, it is API. So let's run that. Hypercorn app colon API. Hit enter. Let's see what happens now. Okay, it has started running and the default port is 8000. So let's switch to our browser. Go to localhost 8000. Let's see what happens now. It says hello world. Cool. Let me turn off my dark reader. Okay, it's still in dark mode. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So we have hello world. Just to see the change, hello world again. Save. It doesn't auto reload, so probably there's a different command to do auto reload. Let's find that out later. For now, let's restart the server. Cool. So reload again, hello world again. So it's actually working fine. Perfect. Okay, I zoomed a lot. Cool. So we have set our basic FastAPI service and we have a basic route too. So probably let's see if there is a reload module available. So let's go to Hypercorn's documentation. And let's find a variable called reload. Probably there is a command to do that. So let's search for reload, auto reload. Let's see what the documentation says. Okay, it says -hyphen reload. Let's try that. Let's shut down the server and then pass in parameter called reload. Perfect. So let's make a change again to save. Yeah, it's actually reloading. Perfect. So we need not shut down our server to make any changes. Let's go to our API, hit reload here. Yeah, it says hello world again too. Let's do something else. Let's say that we are actually building a new route called the health route. So I'll duplicate. So for this, let me call it async because we would be working with async process a lot. So I'll call it as async def and again def here. Okay, cool. And this time I'll call it as health check health. So message would be health check passed. So there is a mistake here. What is it? Redefinition of unused root. Okay, yeah, it says, okay, there is already a function called root. Let's call it as health. Perfect. And to keep it easy for other APIs to read it, I'll call it as just true false. Or like let's call it as pass fail. So the pass message is pass. So health check has passed. So let's quickly switch to our browser. Our root is actually working /health check is passed. So probably these kind of APIs can be used by services. Probably if you're using Fargate or AWS, Fargate, ECS, whatever. So whichever service needs a health check endpoint, right? For that, probably you can use this endpoint or like health check and read the message called pass. It's actually pass. So yeah, that's the end of this tutorial. Probably the enhanced version we can do it later. Thank you.